U.S. Interstate Highways, the untold story of the original plans for I-40, untangling the complex web of factors that led to their cancellation. Explore how community opposition, legal battles, and concerns about the environment affected the future of U.S. interstate highways. The first proposal for the construction of Interstate 40 or I-40 in Memphis envisioned the highway running through the middle of the city before connecting to the Hernando de Soto Bridge and continuing on into Arkansas. The purpose of this proposed route was to create a direct connection between Memphis and Arkansas, making travel within the region and trading among its businesses easier. Despite this, the idea was subsequently scrapped, which resulted in significant alterations to the way the city's motorway system is organized. The Eisenhower administration made the choice to route Interstate 40 through Memphis as part of the greater building of interstate highways during that time period. The goal of this project was to build a large network of high-speed highways to help the business and transportation system grow. This plan took into account Memphis, which is a significant metropolis in the surrounding area. The building of Interstate 40 through the middle of Memphis would have fundamentally altered the urban landscape of the city and had a significant power on the cities and neighborhoods located along its route. Concerned residents and organizations in the surrounding areas voiced their opposition to the proposed route due to the possible disturbance and harm it would cause to their towns. The individuals and organizations that were opposed to the proposed route of Interstate 40 through Overton Park were concerned about the potential adverse effects that the route could have not only on the park but also on the villages and neighborhoods that were located nearby. Overton Park was a treasured open space and an important leisure facility for the people who lived in the surrounding neighborhood. The proposed highway route created a risk of destroying the natural beauty of the park and may have resulted in the destruction of structures in the surrounding area. The City Council felt obligated to address the concerns of the public as a result of the growing opposition that they were facing. In spite of the fact that the route via Overton Park was first supported, the City Council ultimately decided not to use it. Federal transportation officials played a crucial role in the dispute that surrounded the proposed route of Interstate 40 through Overton Park in Memphis by demanding a definitive decision from Memphis officials. The debate around the proposed route of Interstate 40, if an agreement couldn't be reached, these government officials threatened to cut off funds from the federal government for the route. In the meantime, a group of concerned residents working to defend Overton Park brought their argument to the federal level, where they cited the Parkland Act as a way to safeguard the park and demand that alternative travel routes be considered. The participation of federal transportation officials complicated the decision-making process and exasperated the existing disagreement by adding a new level of complexity to the situation. The approval of the federal government was essential for the development of the interstate highway projects. Since the federal government supplied major funds for the projects, they exerted pressure on the officials in Memphis to find a solution to the problem as quickly as possible by demanding a definite decision. The group of citizens to protect Overton Park decided to pursue legal action at the federal level in order to resolve the issues that were voiced by local residents who were opposed to the proposed path. They contended that the parkland statutes, which were designed to reduce the amount of damage done to parks and call for the exploration of alternative solutions, should be applied to the situation involving Overton Park. The Parkland statutes, which were passed into law in 1966 as a component of the Federal Highway Act, mandated careful consideration of planned highway routes through parks and encouraged the investigation of alternative possibilities. The Citizens to Preserve Overton Park group had the opinion that the proposed path for Interstate 40 went against these statutes, and as a result, they looked into legal options to safeguard the park. The Citizens group made a strategic move by bringing the case to a decision-maker at the federal level. They wanted to throw a wrench into the decision-making process and make sure that government officials thought about the possible effects on the environment and other possible paths. The participation of federal courts made it possible to examine the decision from a more comprehensive standpoint and to hold transportation officials accountable for the activities they took. As a result of the involvement of the Supreme Court, the Citizens to Preserve Overton Park group was ultimately successful in achieving a huge victory. The court decided that the Secretary of Transportation had violated the Parkland Act by failing to conduct a proper analysis of the available alternatives. When it comes to the design of transportation projects, the decision stressed how important it is to conduct extensive evaluations, maintain transparency, and safeguard parks and other natural spaces. This decision had far-reaching repercussions, and it established a new standard for the consideration of community concerns during the planning and construction of future infrastructure. It illustrated the strength of citizen activity, as well as the impact that legal action may have on the decisions that are made on public policy. The involvement of federal transportation officials and the citizens to preserve Overton Park Organization in the controversy over I-40's route through Memphis highlighted the intricacies and dynamics of decision-making processes associated to major infrastructure projects. The problem was where the highway would go through Memphis. It brought to light the delicate balance that must exist between the needs of transportation and the preservation of the environment, as well as the significance that legislative frameworks play in ensuring that evaluations are fair and comprehensive. The original plan to route Interstate 40 through Overton Park in Memphis was scrapped when the Supreme Court issued a ruling that was considered to be a watershed moment when it decided that the Transportation Secretary had violated the parkland statutes and failed to give enough consideration to the feasibility of alternate routes. As a result of this decision, the parkland statutes were no longer valid. This decision has important repercussions for both the highway project and the overall landscape of the development of transportation infrastructure. The decision of the Courtland highlighted how important it is to adhere to the parkland regulations, which necessitated the study of alternate routes in order to minimize the amount of damage done to parks and natural places. By reaching the conclusion that the Transportation Secretary had not met this requirement, the court reaffirmed the necessity of conducting exhaustive analysis and maintaining open decision-making procedures when it comes to the design of infrastructure. Because of the decision made by the Supreme Court, the original path that Interstate 40 took through Overton Park has been cancelled. The decision not to build the original route of Interstate 40 through Overton Park was a watershed event in the annals of the United States' long and illustrious history of highway construction. It brought to light the important citizen activism and legal action in the process of questioning decisions made by the government and influencing public policy. It also showed the possibility for collaborative efforts between the government, the residents, and advocacy groups to shape the trajectory of infrastructure development in a way that strikes a balance between economic considerations, the preservation of the environment, and the well-being of the community. That's all for the video today. We'll be right back with more. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.